Okay, and we're live. Sister Bomi, aka Barrister Bomi.
I'm here, live.
You
Hello,
guys,
hello, everyone.
we have a fantastic guest today. But before I get into, her profile, let me just say welcome to everyone who has joined so far. We have a few people that have already clicked in. OC, I see you. Hello. Drop a comment. Let me know what city you're repping. Where are you watching us from? Thanks for always clicking on my videos and joining us on this live. I know that there's currently a pause with the Federal Skilled Worker Program under Express Entry. So a lot of people are feeling very demotivated and they're saying, I don't want to watch Canada videos right now. They're not inviting people. You still need to prepare yourself. They're going to resume it eventually. It's just the whole pandemic causing the pause. But you guys, how are you? How have you been? Sister Bumi, you might not be able to see the comments, but if there are any comments that come up, I'll put them on the screen.
Okay.
And yeah, so let's get into this talk. Sister Bumi, aka Barrister Bumi. I call her Sister Bumi because that's what my sister calls her. She's like, Sister Bumi, Sister Bumi. So I got to know her. I got to know her through my sister and through some groups that we're on together. It's so lovely having you on this live. Thank you so much for honoring my invitation. We've spoken about, some of the things that we need to talk about today to enlighten newcomers and inform them of things that happen here in Canada that they might not even be aware of. So thank you very much for taking time out of your busy schedule. This woman is a powerhouse in the Greater Toronto area when it comes to real estate law. She's a busy woman, okay? So please welcome her. Welcome her for me. Okay, can you do a brief introduction of yourself?
Of myself.
Tell us about you.
I don't know all this hype. All the hype that Papa has given me already. Now I'm scared to even say anything. But hello, everyone. My name is Bomi Bossade. People call me Oluwa Bomi, but basically you call me Bomi. Bomi Bossade is my name. I am a Nigerian Canadian, and I live in Brampton, Ontario. I moved into Canada about 6 years and 2 months ago. And sometimes when I say 6 years, when I first came into Canada and I hear people say 6 years, I look at them, what? You've been in this country for 6 years? How did you do it? And now I'm 6 years and I'm wondering, okay, I still feel like a newcomer,
Right.
But yeah, I've been here for a little over 6 years. I am a lawyer back home I was a lawyer back home in Nigeria. I'm still a lawyer in Nigeria. And when I came in, before I came in, I made up my mind that I was going to further my profession. And yeah, there were obstacles here and there. There were, barriers, but thank God I was able to, pass through all the bumps and all that. And I was called into the Canadian Ontario Bar in the year 2018. And ever since, I've been practicing as a lawyer here in Ontario, Canada. I practice in the area of real estate. My major practice is real estate. I do family law and also immigration law as well. I'm married. I have an amazing family that have been very supportive. I have 2 beautiful kids, and yeah, that's who I am.
That's awesome. Like, you forgot to mention that you own and run your own practice.
Well, yes, I do own. Yeah, well, I forgot to. I did forget to mention that I do run my own practice. It's called Oluwabumi Bossade Law Office. That's my name, and I just, I thought about it. And when I was thinking of what to call my practice, we actually had a family roundtable, and my kids were thinking of names and coming out. I said, you know what? I'm just going to go with my name because I think I earned it, and I think I deserve to have that name on it. So yeah,
Absolutely.
I run my own practice here in the GTA. My office is located somewhere in Toronto, Ontario.
Exactly. Okay, perfect. Thank you. So 6 years. Wow, like that's, like you said, it's a long time. And I'm not even up to 6 years too as well. And then I still call myself a new immigrant, even though I'm like 5.5 years, because to me, I'm still a new immigrant. So I can really relate with that when you say, you feel like you're still a newcomer. And honestly, those 6 years are definitely packed with a lot of lessons, a lot of wisdom that comes with living abroad and living in North America, Canada specifically. But before we get into those lessons and tips that you have for newcomers, can I ask you, why did you choose to relocate to Canada? So why did you choose to relocate? And then why Canada? I'm sure you had like different options. Why Canada?
That question. Okay, so I didn't choose Canada. Canada chose me. And my story is unique in its own. I've never been an abroad person. I ring it everywhere. I'm that individual that likes to come to the UK, go to the US, and wherever to have your summer and go back home. I'm the very restless kind of person that I can't stay in one place. So for me, even when I come and I spend 2 weeks, like I'm telling my husband, what are we doing? When are we going back home? Because it's too quiet, it's too, everything is just so, you can't peep out and say, Faye, what's happening there? So I'm not that kind of person. So for me, it was difficult. So I never dreamt I was going to live abroad. But my husband somehow had it in his plan before we got married. So before we got married, he already had this Canada thing in the pipeline. And at the time of we getting married, he informed me. And I said, okay, let's see what happens. At that time, it was a whole FSW program,
Right.
So he did apply. And when we got married, he had to, amend his application to add my name. Then fortunately or unfortunately, I don't know where it belongs right now, we got an email saying that the the program at that time was being cancelled and our funds were going to be returned. I'm sorry about that. I have to take
That's okay.
switch off my phone.
That's okay.
He said, Bomi, I got this email. They are returning our funds. So what do we do? I'm like, good. It means God doesn't want us to go to Canada. So we stay here in Nigeria and make the best out of it. And that was what happened with our case. Then I think 2 years after, at that time, we already settled, we already had our 2 kids. Then we got an email saying that they were going through their profile. I can't remember the email in its actual wordings, but they saw my husband's profile and they were asking if he was still interested.
Wow.
So at that time, we felt it was calm. It was all this 419, we weren't sure if we should go for it or not. And the email also stated that if he was interested, they could actually issue a work permit where he could come in with his family while they process, the application. Wow. And they asked for a list of documents for us to submit. So I said, let's just give it a try and see. Maybe this is actually real. So we looked at everything they wanted us to put together. We put everything together and we submitted it. And 6 months later, we're asked to go do our medicals. Wow. And that was how Canada became a reality for us.
Wow. That is so unique. I've never heard a story like that.
I know.
I've never, I understand that, okay, must have been around the time when, they had this whole long application where it was like the paper route before express entry came in 2015, yes. Right? So they were now the ones that reached out to you after you even forgot about it and you just settled in with your family in Nigeria and they reached out to you. Yeah. Wow. That's Canada really chose you. Okay. So you said the application took 6 months and then, you came in, and what was it like, landing in Canada with 2 kids? And I'm very happy to even be talking with, someone who has, the experience of traveling with kids. I've had a few guests on my channel, and some of them have had kids, some haven't. But I like to hear from, you that you moved with kids. They already had a certain lifestyle in Nigeria. They probably had one nanny and maybe two maids or something. I say maid just because that's what we call it in Nigeria. Yeah. We have domestic workers in Nigeria for different duties. But how was that experience moving with kids? And then you coming in being a lawyer and still going through with the entire licensing process?
I think here I'm going to try to be as truthful as I can be. Personally, I don't want to use the word strict because some people will say no, it's not going to be strict, but that's my personality. That's just how it is. And for my kids, yes, we did have nannies and we did have help, but even before Canada became, a reality for us, I've always had a standard with my kids. They wouldn't normally eat and leave their plates for a nanny or house help to pick up. They wouldn't leave their rooms for whoever to help with. So I've always had that mentality. Before I got married, I had a standard of what I wanted my kids to be like, with God, being my help. So I started that with them as soon as I became a mom. I was the strict mom. My husband was the very, cool guy that they could get away with, get away
So
anything.
good cop, bad cop type of.
That was how we played. It played like,
Wow.
So they knew that I loved them, but they knew that I had a standard. They knew that no, this you can't do this. So for me, it wasn't really difficult when I realized that I had to come. I was going to relocate because at that time my son was like 7 or 8. But at that time, if I cook in the kitchen, my son would come in and sit with me and help me cut vegetables. I'm talking of Nigeria here. There are times that I just decide that no driver today, no me dropping you off at school today, and we go with it. In Nigeria we call it Keke Marua tricycle. I just put my kids on it and I enter with him and I ask him, ask me any question. And he's seen a child on the road sitting down with a mom begging and is wondering why is he not going to school. So that has always been my kind of person. I put my child on the bike. I put my child on the bus, the Monwe kind of bus in Nigeria here. So I already started, teaching them what I needed them. So when it became a reality that we're moving to Canada, it didn't take me, that much effort to try and, do something different. The only thing I think I did at that time was that beginning of that year, the year preceding the year, I now knew it was a reality. I did not bother because every year there's an agency that we worked with and a friend will always help us get these nannies. And also I just told them that year, I said, I'm going to Canada, so I have to start learning to do things myself. So that year I did not bother to take the nanny or help or driver or cleaner or washman. I just decided that year it was me and my family. Let's try this and see how it was going to work. So us landing here, of course, for every newcomer, it's always like a shock, like a big shocker. Even though you knew, you had read up and you've had stories and all that, you always feel like, oh my God, what did I get myself into? And for me, our situation was, because like I said, we weren't really planning for Canada. My husband was doing well, I was doing well, and it wasn't something that we had in the next 10-year plans or objective for the family. So when it came very fast. 6 months, we got everything, and we needed to land 6 months between. So my family decided, you know what? It was close to summer, and we're like, okay, let's go do. I think we did 10 or 12 days and see how it was. So we did our summer vacation that year, landing in Canada. And it was summer, so it was all fun. It was, everywhere. You know how summer is. Everywhere was bubbling, and everywhere was. I like this place, so it's not like US and the UK. I don't know, something is just different. But within that 10, 12 days that we spent, we used it in, doing our research. I knew it was going to take me time to become a lawyer. So I was thinking, okay, what is the plan B? What am I going to do before I finish my licensing exam? So we're going to different schools to find out on admission. I knew I had passion for organizing things, putting things together, and planning and all that. So I said, let me do something in HR. So at that time, I was going to different schools to find out what I needed to do with my kids too. We're finding schools, we're looking for, where to stay. We did surprisingly, we did our G1, and I think my husband also did his G2 within that 10 days before we went back. So it was just that 10 days and we went back. Then we started to get ready to come finally. And at that point, we decided, you know what, Bomi, you go first with the kids. And my husband decided to stay back home and allow me at least finish that 1 year. I got an admission even before I left. I think I got my admission before I left. Within that 10 days, I put everything together and I got an admission for my postgraduate in human resources. So I knew I was coming to school the January, preceding that year. So
as a domestic student.
Yes, as a domestic student. So what we just did was we just planned, and I came first with the kids. It was I landed on the, I would say landed, because that first one was too sweet to be called landed. We came in, I think, on the 6th of January.
Wow.
It was freezing.
Wow, that's like the smack in the middle of winter.
It was, oh my God, there's days that I shed tears. I came in and I had to resume school like the Monday. I came in on a Saturday. I had to resume school on a Monday. So it was
with
really
kids. Good. How did you do it? Like how? Now that you've even mentioned that you came alone with your 2 kids, I'm so interested because I've been to your home and I've met your kids. In fact, your kids are they're like more developed than their age. They're on a different level when it comes to respect and manners. In fact, how did you do it? What this Canada parents are scared because you're hearing a lot of things, right, about what they teach them in school. How they're teaching them right now, even little children, that 911 is the number to call if anybody says anything bad, or if your parents shout at you, or if any little thing happens, call 911. How did you manage all these things, especially being here on your own in the beginning?
So I would say for me, I'm a Christian. I put God in first in everything that I do, so I wouldn't take that away. Before I came in, we already, we prayed and asked, is this what you want us to do? So like I said, it wasn't easy. If I tell you here that, it was all jolly, no, it wasn't. It was bad. But I just had that strength. God gave me the strength because, like I said, before I came in, I knew I was going to do NCA. That was my pre-qualification for my law programs as well. So I already paid for my first set of exams. So I knew what I was getting into. My husband was back home. And at that time, I'm not a tech person, but I appreciated technology at that time more than anything in my life. I was just thanking God for giving whoever invented Skype at that time. I was just thanking God for giving that person that wisdom. Because sometimes I had to go to school at night and my kids had to stay home. And what we would do is my husband wouldn't leave his office until sometimes 3 a.m.
Wow.
Because we connected the Skype to the big TV. So he's there, he's doing the homework with them. He's in Nigeria. He would do the homework with the kids. He would see them to the living room, to the bedroom they would do their prayers together. And sometimes it's connecting me on Skype. I'm in school and I'm seeing them. Everybody is fine. They're in bed. They have done their homework. He's there. Like you see him on his desk. Sometimes he's like dozing off, but he's there until when I get into the door and I say, I'm in. Then he gets off. And he goes home because sometimes the network at home is not really good. So he has to use the internet in the office. So for me, like I said, it wasn't easy.
It wasn't.
But it was just determination, and it was, determination and, having a focus. This is what I wanted to do. I remember, like I said, when I came in, I needed to start school on Monday. So it was, okay, where do my kids, my daughter was still young. She couldn't start school at that time. So I started looking out for the home, we call them daycare. And I was asking around. I go to church. The church that we go to was very close to the house. It was a Nigerian church. So that's another tip, guys. You don't, isolate yourself. Some people before they come in, they say, no, I don't want to, this Nigerian mentality. I'm done with Nigerians. I want to know. So for me, I immediately, the day I got to church, I already started asking questions. Please, I'm new. I came in day before yesterday. This is what I need. This is the help I need. And also we had a family member that was here also before we came in. The family member too was very helpful, to the best of, his ability. He was there for us, things that he knew that we didn't know. He was able to put us through. And yeah, basically, like I said, it was tough, but it was doable because I already had, I had that resilience, and I was determined that I'm here. I just have to make the best out of it until my husband
Wow.
came to join me. Yeah.
Wow. Wow, that's very, that just shows the determination, to be honest, because it's easy to say, oh, this can't work. I need to stop school and I need to stay at home, or I need to, get a part-time job instead. It's easy to give up and just say, I have a good excuse, right? But you guys made it work with the partnership. So that is mind-blowing, actually. And you were a lawyer in Nigeria. You came in and you studied HR because you already knew, what the licensing process was about. So I guess let me ask you, as a lawyer, what is the licensing process like? What are the things that you needed to do to become a lawyer and become, the principal counsel in your own law firm? And how long did that process take for you?
Okay. So basically I think it depends on you. Now I've had people come to me, I've had mentees come and say, "Oh, Bomi, how long?" And I will tell them sincerely, you know what, I cannot tell you how long. It's you that will determine how long you want this process to take for you. It's a process and it's long. It's painful, it's tedious. I'm not scaring anyone, but I've had people say, I don't think I want to go on. I think I'm done. I don't want to, continue. And I've had people say, you know what, I don't think it's worth it. But I also tell people you have to put your mind to it and you have to be determined. Determination is one skill or one attribute that would help you go a long way in this process. Yeah, like I said, for me, I'm a very restless person. I normally put the restlessness so that when you see me, you don't, and you see me act, you're not like surprised. So for me, I knew, like I said, this was what I wanted to do. So I started my research way back before I eventually came in that January. So before I landed, okay, the process here is if you're already qualified and you're coming from a common law country such as Nigeria, we practice common law in Nigeria as well. So it was a little bit easier for us coming from Nigeria other than from people coming from other jurisdictions. The process is you get your university educational qualification assessed by a body here in Canada. After they do the assessment, they would come back to tell you, okay, we've assessed everything. And assessment includes looking at your university transcript, your law school transcript, your resume. So have you practiced as a lawyer before? And while practicing as a lawyer, what exactly did you do? Which area of law did you practice in? Have you appeared in court before? So they want to actually have kind of, they want to see what you've done so far in that regard. So they look at it, they sit on it, they come back and say, you know what, we've looked at everything you've done, and we think from what we see, you can go ahead and start the qualifying process to become a lawyer here in Canada. But these are the things you need to do. At the time I came in, it was 4 subjects. You had a minimum. So for this assessment, there's some courses that are like important, prerequisite. You don't have a choice. You just have to write them because it kind of gives you an idea of the framework of the legal system in Canada. So at that time I came in, and that's why sometimes it's good not to procrastinate. I told you when we came for that 10 days, it wasn't a 10 days of coming to go to Niagara Falls, or no, I did not. I was just doing my research. So when I came, I called, the body, and they told me this was what I needed to do. And right there and there, I paid for my application before I left. So by the time I got back home, I was working on getting my transcript and everything over to them. At that time, I was assessed for the four compulsory courses, which was the admin, constitutional law, criminal procedure, and one other course. And that January I landed, they changed it to 5. So it became 5 compulsory courses. So when I heard, I was so happy. I was like, thank God they took this call past me, So that's the first stage. Now you have to write this 4 exams. For me, it was 4. And it depends on you. They had scheduled period when you can write it in a year. I think we had just, at that time, it was 4 times a year. So you would choose which one is convenient for you. And like I said, there's no one size fits all. I've had mentees come in to say, you know what, my husband said, no work, no school, sit down, face these exams as if you're in the university and get it done with. And they register for all the 5 courses. They don't work, they don't do anything, and they write it once and they pass. I've had people come in and say, you know what, I don't think my strength, my capacity right now, I can do 5. I want to do 2. Some will say, you know what, I'm going to spread it once every quarter for the whole of the year. So that's why I can actually not tell you how long it's going to take you. So for me, because I was doing my HR program, I had my kids all by myself. I was doing one at a time. And that was how I finished. And when I finished, I wanted to do my master's as well. So while I was in my doing my HR program, I applied for my master's and I got an admission to start the January. So I finished my exams on the 24th. I started again on the 4th of January. It got to a point that people called me and said, Bomi, take it easy now, calm down. Said, you know what, if I don't do this now, I know myself, I won't do it. So you guys all I need right now is the encouragement. Just keep encouraging me and don't worry, I'll be fine, So for me, it depends on your personality. It depends on your family circumstances. Okay. Those are the things, and it depends on your ability. So you're going to sit down and look at yourself and say, what can I take at this time? What am I able to handle? Not looking at what Bomi has done. Like for me, my master's, my postgraduate in HR, my NCA, my bar exams, it took me about 2 years to complete all this process. For some people, it's shorter, and for some people, it's longer. Because our situations are different, our mental capacity different. So I normally tell people, the first thing you need to do is sit down, look at yourself, look at your ability, then decide on, what can I do this and how do I want to do this? But one thing you have to be determined. If not.
Right. Okay, thank you for that. And this sounds very familiar because, of course, my sister, I watched her go through.
I can imagine.
In fact, I think I need to have a session. Maybe when I bring Niger lawyer in Canada, I can see the whole internationally trained lawyer gang in the comment section. I can see that their names are just to be sure. I can see them. I think I'll bring you guys on to come and let people know the reality of things. You guys can show us your books and your bookmarking that you do, because my sister bookmarks in color coding.
When I passed my bar exams, you know what I did? I brought out all, we had this ringer that we used in binding all those big books. So I put all the ringers on my bed and I took a picture of it and I put it on my DP. Everybody was asking, what's this? I said, you cannot understand that code. It's only somebody that's been there that will understand the code of what I just put here, because it was crazy. It was crazy. Like you're looking at the books and you're thinking, sincerely, am I going to read this? And you expect me to read everything, every page. It was crazy. But we thank God
the funniest thing about this law thing, you're reading, and reading is different from reading too. Like with these law books, what I find is that they can write, this situation leads to this and this and this. However, in a situation where this However, the exception to that,
There's always
how
an
many
exception.
exceptions do you want to keep in your head?
There's always an exception to the rule. There's an exception to the exception. So yes,
Those
yes.
books are something else. I think I need to organize like an entire session. You guys, Niger lawyer in Canada, hit me up. Let's do something.
Yeah, for all
Maybe
the
I can have,
let all the lawyers just come and gist, and you can guys
yeah,
come and hear people's life story. And if
yeah.
you know why these things are important and they're good, because a lot of people right now are going through these processes and they are actually second guessing themselves. They're doubting their abilities and like, is it me? Is it that I'm dull? Is it that all those, work I did in university was nothing? No, my dear, it's not. It's just the system. So when you hear, if you have opportunities like this and you hear people say, oh, this was what I went through. Oh, I actually cried. I say it. I'm not ashamed. One of my exams, I failed. When I say it, it's not because I'm proud, right? Failing an exam is not something you should be proud about. But I know that somebody somewhere would hear this and would encourage that person. Okay, I just failed. So if Bomi can fail, who am I now? It's okay. Let me dust this my book and go back to it. So it helps us to
Yeah.
actually let us know that it's okay. It's
It's not
okay.
easy.
It's
Yeah.
not easy. It's a process that sometimes I tell people you have to actually go through it to understand. When I'm talking to you and I say you get it, you don't get it though. You go through that process before you can actually identify that yes, you get it. So it's okay for people to share their story so that people know that they are not alone. Whatever they're going through, somebody has gone through it and the person rose above
Absolutely.
it. So yeah.
Absolutely. So you guys, when you're, approaching lawyers, don't say because they're Nigerian lawyers, your fellow Nigerian, you want to beat their price too low. People are, this is a lot of hard work that has gone through it. Please. Eh?
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll definitely, I don't know if we have a lot of lawyers watching or, potential newcomers that are trying to come in and hoping to be lawyers in Canada. If you're here, let me know in the comment section. And then I can organize something, in the coming weeks for more lawyers to come on and tell you their personal experiences too, because, it's very important for you to hear tips that help them. Because honestly, and this is something I keep hearing a lot of internationally trained lawyers say, that the support system right now is massive compared to how it was a few years ago. A few years ago, nobody would tell you anything. Right now, the information is available. It's only if you don't want it.
Hey, see, now that you've brought it up, just give me this opportunity to do this shout
Please
out
go
to
ahead.
Niger lawyer in Canada. Seriously, Trudeau needs to give you a recognition award. And I tell people, just as you said, people do not know what they have right now. You don't want to understand what people like myself went through. And I'm just talking of 6 years. I'm not talking of like 20 years ago. I'm talking of 6 years ago. There was no information anywhere. All we relied upon was there was a Facebook group at that time. So everybody was like, go to the Facebook group, go to the Facebook group. And when I go to this Facebook group, most of the people there are not people that understand, where I'm coming from. So for me, it's a little bit difficult. When I see a Nigerian, the way I would quickly go into that person's private message, I'm like, hey, you're Nigerian, hi, please come and tell me, have you done this before? What should I expect? I remember I met Doyi. I've forgotten Doyi's last name now. She's in SK. I met her on that Facebook group. And it was like both of us were yearning for companionship, because the minute I went to IBH, she was like, can I call you? I said, please. We spoke for over 2 hours. We had not known each other. We had not seen each other before. But, the fact that you were able to talk to somebody and that person understood where you're coming from, the process you're going through, it was like huge for us. For me, there was no group. There was no WhatsApp group. There was nothing, no Instagram group. You just hear from, this is what I did, go and do it. Some people will even tell you, some people say, it's normal, God will help you, and we're all depending on God. But right now you have an amazing support system. Even sometimes I tell people, when people come to say, oh, I just came in, I'm a lawyer. I say, see, it's possible, it's doable for you to actually do these exams in 6 months. Every 5 courses and pass. because you know what? You have an amazing support system. So Moyo and Loretta, you guys are amazing. You don't know what that's stress that you're taking off people right now. You're people's messiah. And on behalf of all international trained lawyers, I'm here just to say thank you and God bless you.
Oh.
Please do not stop what you're doing. You're doing amazingly well.
You guys will come on my platform. Oh, just be ready. Maybe it's next weekend. I'll bring you guys to come live. Just to be sure and more. I can see you in the comments. All this praising is for you to toast you to come and and Loretta. All of you should come. So yeah, okay, thank you for that, because people really need to understand that. So okay, let's move away a little bit from law, because I know there's some people that are watching that are not lawyers and they're not planning to go into law. But for you as an individual, a Nigerian mom who moved to Canada, what would be your greatest lesson that you've learned so far in this land that we are in?
Okay, so yeah, I remembered you actually asked a question earlier that I didn't get to about my kids and them being respectful and this and that, and how I was able to do that. Like I said, I will not take the God factor out of whatever I've got to say. I pray. I'm a praying mom. I strongly believe in prayers. I also believe there are some things that I will not take out. So I know we new moms, we believe most of our culture and the way our parents brought us up are not, necessarily the best ways. But for me, I also believe that there are things there that I cherish and I'm not going to joke with. I'm not going to negotiate with my kids. And they understand. I love my kids. They know that I love them like crazy. They know, even though they see me as the strict mom and they see their dad as the dad can take anything, they still know that when they need anything, it's still mommy they come to, because it's mommy that would, look at it and say, Dad, let's do it for them. But I don't take away the fact that there are some standard that has to be met. I've seen parents say, oh, it's not compulsory for your kids to, kneel down while greeting. For me, I'm Yoruba. I love it. I cherish it. It's a culture that I grew up with. It's a form of respect. I do not see anything wrong in my kids keeping that aspect of my culture. So they know that is a standard. You have to do it. I allow them express themselves. We have family meetings in my house. During our family meetings, yes, everybody, we have days set of a family meeting. So they come and they yap me. Say, Mommy, remember that day you came in, you were so upset. You don't have to take out whatever happens in your work on us. We are not your clients. And and I'm like, okay, sorry. It happens.
Well, so there's open communication.
That communication is very important. I just like today now, I told them I'm having a program. I might be talking about you guys. So I'm taking your permission now before I start. And they're like, okay, so what are you going to be talking about? I said, I don't know yet what the question should be, but there's probably that I'm going to be talking about you guys. So I just wanted you guys to be aware, and I'm seeking permission from you guys before I do that. So yes, that's.
Sorry, Sister Bomi, before we go ahead, someone asked, how old were they when you came and how old are they now?
When we came in, my son was 8 and my daughter was my son was 6. My son was 6 and my daughter was 4. She was going to be 4. She was 3 plus, she wasn't 4 yet. Yes.
Okay.
And now my son is 14, my daughter is 10.
He's a big boy.
Yes, he's a bit taller than me, and I'm so proud that he's always standing beside me to show me that, Mom, see, you're looking up at me. So for me, yeah, parenting is there's different styles for, but the most important thing I share with my friends, I share with my, people that are close to me is know your child's personality. When you're training kids, you cannot train, if you have 10, then it means you have to wear 10 hats. You cannot use the tactics or your style that you use for A with B. I know my kids. I know 2 of them very well. There are some things that I know that either of them wouldn't do or would take. There are things that I know that I need to work on more on A than on B, because I see the strengths frequently, or I see this person have this, but this person doesn't have this, or this person needs to build this. So it's easier for me to work on it. So yeah, for me, I'm an average Nigerian mom, and I'm proud to be that. I try as much as possible to infuse the Canadian style as much as I can. I try, like you said, open communication. I respect their view. I have discussions with them. I ask them about their opinion, but that doesn't mean that that's what I'm going to go with. If I feel it's not right for them, and I stick to what I feel is the best for them, because that's why I'm their parent, to guide and to guide them. That's why I'm there.
Yes. Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely. I know we've also had some conversations around, something that happened that you wanted to inform, people of, because, and this is something that, honestly, this is why I do what I do, because there's a lot that people don't know. You can feel like you know a lot, like I can feel like I know a lot, but I actually don't know a lot. Do you understand? Like, until certain things happen, then you realize that you don't know as much as you
As you
should,
think you
and
know, yes.
nobody is telling you. This is something I've said on my channel before. When you move to Canada as a new immigrant, a lot of people expect you to just know certain things. And it's not out of, malice or ill will. It's just they don't think that you will not know. And you, as the individual, you don't even know the right questions to ask. So, can we go into,
That
what transpired?
experience.
Because a lot of people that have lived in Canada for years, me that I
Don't,
had lived in Canada for 5 years, when you told me, I was like, ha. And then I remember that I had heard it somewhere where it made the news. But sometimes you see things on the news too, and it's just like a one-off situation. You're like, you wonder what happened there. You don't know until it happens to someone around you, or someone goes there, like, if it be me.
exactly.
So let's hear a little bit about that, please.
And that was the situation. I'm sure people will be like, lawyer care, that kind of, and it happened to a lawyer, not even just, anybody and out there. And people say that, they say Ontario is yours to discover. I think Canada as a whole is actually yours to discover. There are lots of information there that we are not privy to. We don't have an idea that it exists until, somehow we get hold of those information. So yes, like you said, Shokwe, I had this very horrifying experience alongside with my family a couple of years ago. I think it's 3 years this March, because it was
Mm.
during my kids' birthday week. My kids are actually they were born on the same week, so we always do
Wow.
the celebration, particular week in March. And yeah, so what happened was we got a car from one of this online um, marketing, tools. I wouldn't want to mention the name of the online tool, but we got a car from there because at that time we needed a second car. And we felt, what, we didn't want to go for anything high end at that time. We just needed something very moderate that we could, move around with. And yes, we did get the car. Unfortunately, the car wasn't, working well like we envisioned it to. Wasn't serving the purpose we bought it for. So we thought, you know what, since this car isn't doing what we want it to do, so let's just sell it off on the same platform where we got it. So yeah, my husband put the ad there. People kept calling in, and that day I went to work. I got back, and the car was gone. So I was like, "Oh, what happened?" Oh, somebody came to pick up the car, and I paid for it, and that was it. And we're happy that the car was gone. And until about 6 weeks later, like I said, it was March. We went on a mini vacation with the kids for their birthday week. And I think it was the second day we got back. We were all sleeping. It was about 2:33 a.m. And we had this bang on the door. Bang, 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 that kind of, we all woke up. We're not in Nigeria, so it wasn't obviously
Hmm.
armed robbers. So we were like, okay, what's going on? And the bank came again. So at that point, my husband ran up. And at that point, we were confused, we weren't sure what exactly it was. But we got up, called my son get your phone, call 911, wake your sister. We weren't sure if it was fire. We weren't really sure until we got halfway downstairs. Then we saw the, when you have police or, the ambulance, we saw all the lighting through the door. So we knew it was police. At that time, I didn't even know it was police. I thought it was maybe fire. So I ran back upstairs to get my kids. So at that point, my husband had opened the door and I was hearing the conversation. So it was a policeman actually interviewing him and was like, "Are you Paul?" So at that point, when I heard, "Are you Paul?" I left the kids again and I ran downstairs because I wanted to find out what exactly was going on. And my husband said yes. Then they asked about the car we just sold. Now, I needed to also rewind to let you know when we sold this car, what we did was the normal thing that an average person would do. We removed our car plates, the plate number for the car. We moved all of our belongings from that car and we handed the car over to the new owner with the keys. So they asked us if we were the owner of that car. We said yes, but we sold it. My husband responded, "We sold it." And the guy looked at us and said, at that point, we noticed that we had about 3 cars, police cars, and the couple of other policemen were outside. So he said, "Can they come in?" We said, "Yeah, please do come in." So they came in, how policemen are being trained. They were looking, trying to, scan what was going on. At this time, my kids were already at the staircase. They weren't sure what was going on. Then I think I switched on the light and they saw my, because my call to bar picture was there on the wall. So I guess they had an idea this person is a lawyer. So I asked, "Is anything wrong?" They said yes. This car we sold was used in an armed robbery incident, and guns were shot, and they needed to, find out if we were the one that did it. So we said, "No, this car isn't ours. We sold it already." And the guy said, "No, the VIN of the car has your information on it. We just ran the VIN number of the car and it still has your information." So I looked at my husband and I'm like, "What is VIN number?" You know, the ignorant, me. I was like, "What is VIN number?" And I was like, "Well, the VIN number has your number. You did not officially change ownership of the car. The fact that you removed your plate number doesn't mean that the car doesn't belong to you anymore." So at that point, I became scared. We weren't citizen yet, so I was like, hey,
Oh my God, we can laugh about it now, but I can imagine at that time because
I'm trying to make it very fun.
when you're still a PR, ordinary a cop pulling you over for a speeding ticket, you have to be pounding like
it wasn't funny. They came in, they started interviewing us. They wanted a statement from my husband. And my husband, they brought out the books, they brought out pens. My son came in, and like you said, sometimes it's important that you train your kids well. My son came in and he did the normal prostrating for the Oyibo cop. So the guy looked at him.
I was like, confused.
What's going on here? I was like, "Good evening, Sabi." I can't remember what exactly the guy said. I was like, "Oh, how are you?" He was like, "Fine." I was like, "Mom, is everything okay? Dad, is everything okay?" And he noticed the atmosphere. I want to presume, so they were kind. They weren't, aggressive or whatever. They even sat down. One of them was a female, and they started interviewing us. And my husband, narrated the story of how we sold the car. Can you remember the name? Unfortunately, no. We went back to the ad. The ad was already taken down, but they had communication on text. So we showed them this communication. They downloaded it. Then got so kind. Some months before, I wanted my son to, start doing photography. So I got him a camera. So I guess when they were doing the transaction downstairs, my son started taking pictures of these individuals that came in to, purchase the car. He took their photos, it was in his room, but he was taking pictures downstairs. So my son informed them that I actually did take pictures of those guys. "Dad, is it the guys that bought the car?" My husband said yes. So they have their pictures, it's in my camera. So he ran upstairs, he brought down the camera, and The pictures were there. So they took the what do you guys call it now? That memory
Memory card.
card, and they asked us if they could have it. We said yes. They asked us where we were on a particular day. Fortunately, like I said, we were far away in the resort center with the families, and thank God
Hmm.
there's proof that we booked and we were there and all that. So we gave them all that information, and they said, well, they would get across to us if anything needs be. But I was able to um, gather information that there was a shooting. This individual actually used the car they bought from us, stole another person's plate number, put it on the car, and went to use this car to rob. They shot a dog. I think the dog died. The
Oh.
dog of the owner of the house. So they were gun exchange and
Hmm.
all that. And they said they were going to contact us, but at that point, I knew that we needed to have a lawyer. Even though I was a lawyer, it wasn't something I knew I was going to be comfortable dealing with. So I had to speak to another colleague, a criminal lawyer, in case anything could happen.
Hmm.
Knock and say, "You're
Hey.
under arrest now." Maybe. So it was a very trying period because we weren't sure what was going to happen next. But I spoke to a colleague. A colleague was ready, ready to anything. If anything happens, call me immediately. And subsequently, they called and said they caught, I think, one or two of them, and they were charging them to court if we wanted to be part of the trial. And my husband said, "Can I? Is there a way for me to say no?" They said, "Yes, if you don't want to." Yes. My husband said no. And to cut the long story short, they called us and said they convicted. They eventually caught all of them. They convicted them, and that we could come get the car. I'm like, which car? Like, it's still your car. The VIN number has your name on it. So right now it's your car, and the car has been parked in a garage, and it's been you're paying every day that car is in the garage. So we didn't have a choice than to go to the garage. And when we got there, the irony of it was you needed to see the way these kids, they were kids. I think they were teenagers, designed the car, they put big speaker. And,
The criminals.
yes. So they said we have to take the car away, but we didn't want anything to do. So they said, okay, if we don't want anything to do, we have to sign a document that they, what do they call this thing now? They,
Destroy
forgotten
the
the
car or
words.
something.
They destroy it. Yeah, they would,
They scrap it.
scrap it. So yeah, we say, yeah, go ahead and scrap it. But you know what? We still had to
Hmm.
pay for every day that
Hmm.
car was there. I think we paid about 2,000 or 2,000
Hmm.
plus or something for each day the car was there.
And
And
that was even a reduced amount because it's usually very expensive.
very expensive, So that was the experience. But aside from the fact that we didn't have an idea, so when we got to the police, when we got to the police station to get the documents we needed to go to where the car was, the policeman was telling us, no, you just don't sell your car and remove your plate number. That they've had a lot of people coming with the same, people can even go on the 407 and get tickets, and it's going to come to your name
To
because it's
your
not just
address.
the VIN number, it is the VIN number. So you have to make sure when you're selling a vehicle, when you're buying or selling a used vehicle, you go to Service Ontario and do change of ownership. If you're not able to go to Service Ontario at the time you're doing the exchange, then you go to the Ministry of Transportation website. There's a form, a change of ownership form that you could print out and take to the person purchasing from you. The person would put all the required information, sign, then you take it to Service Ontario to submit it. But you cannot at any time buy a used car without carrying out this process. If not, it will still have your details as the owner on it, no matter how long
Hmm.
this person has been driving this car. So we got that information and it was very useful, right? It was something that we were not aware of. We never knew existed, even though we've been living in Canada for quite
No,
a while.
because this website that you're talking about, and there are a bunch of them too. It's not, and that's the thing I want people that are watching from outside Canada to understand. Buying and selling on these platforms is normal everyday business for some people. If I have this, like this camera that I have now, if I want to sell it, I literally would just go on that website, put it on, put the ad, and somebody's going to call me today, and I will probably find somebody that would pick it today. They show up, and then the transaction is done. That's just how it is, and it's the same thing with cars. I've bought cars, I've sold cars. Do you understand? all of us, we're here, and these are everyday transactions that we carry out, no matter how small the item is. But in this case, a car. So I want people to understand that it's not strange to not buy a car from a dealership, or it's not strange to not go and sell your car in a dealership will quote rubbish price for you for your car, right? So these are websites that you and I use on a regular basis, right? You just don't know who is who, and you need to protect yourself. And even when you go to this service, Ontario service, Canada, there's so many things that you go and do, and they don't tell you, oh, you also need to do this for this
Do
thing to
this.
be
Yeah.
complete. When you go there, okay, for example, I want to change my name, I want to do this. They just do what you've come to ask for. They don't tell you, oh, you also have
You
to
need
do
to.
this. Even if it's in the same office there,
You're
that
right.
they will still do for you. They don't tell you also have to do this. My friend and I were talking about it the other day, that she went to Service Ontario just like this, and she went to do something, and it's God that just said she should ask, is there anything else I'm supposed to do that I have not asked you about?
Can you
I was
imagine?
like, that is such a good question to
To
ask,
ask. Yeah.
because you just don't know, right? A lot of people, that you come in, they do the work, and it's just, yeah, thank you, have a good one, bye bye. And you think you're safe, you think you've done what you have to do, but you're a newcomer, you don't know what else it is that you have to do. And those questions won't be answered if you don't
If
know
you
the
don't
right
ask.
questions to ask.
Yeah. So for me, my advice to newcomers is ask. Always. There's no foolish question. There's
Always.
no foolish question. Ask. Ask 5, 6 person. Confirm before you do anything.
Yes.
Always do that confirmation call from people that you know have been here. And if somebody tells you, sometimes like people could say, "Oh, I'm not sure." The minute you hear "I'm not sure," please do another confirmation call until you are sure.
Yes.
And I also
And
say that
even
this government websites, this government call centers, they are there for us. They are paying them because of us. For me, it doesn't take me anything to call. As long as I know there's a call number, I would call you. You could be nasty. I would hang up the phone and call another person. And I try as
yes.
much as possible to be friendly because I need something from you. So I'm asking you, oh, hello, this is what I'm about to do. Please, can you tell me what I actually need to do? What are the
Mm-hmm.
requirements? What I need to do to get this done? And
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure somebody will be there to actually put you through and say, do
Yeah.
this or don't do that. Because that
Yeah.
experience right there is not something anybody wants to go through. Because
No.
even after that night, for the next 1 week, my kids were scared when it's time for bed,
Hmm.
especially my daughter. My daughter is
Hmm.
asking, I hope they're not coming back tonight. I
Oh.
hope the police are not going to come back. They hear, bam, everybody's in my room. They're knocking on my door. Mom, did you hear something?
Hmm.
Do you want to check if everything is okay? Like immediately I
Oh.
come into my room to go downstairs to check if everything is okay. So aside from the mental stress we went through, it wasn't a good experience. For that
Yeah.
couple of weeks, when our phone rings, they're like, hey, kilo
Hmm.
deal, wait, we're not sure of what
Ah.
the next thing was going to be. And to shock
And
you,
yeah.
shock, but that I think I told you, was it this year? No, it was last year, just after COVID, when they said we could go to do our car registration and plate registration or whatever. After, I think it was August last year, me and my husband we went to Service Ontario to renew the car particulars and all that. And my husband just said, "Bumi, let me just check that number safe. Let me check that car." And do you know they still had our name on it, even though they've scrapped it? He still had immediately the lady pulled and said, "This car belongs to Paul, blah blah blah, address, blah blah blah." We looked at ourselves like this. My husband had to ask, "Please, what do I need to take my name off that car?" And the lady was like, "Oh, is it not your car?" We had to tell
Explain
her.
everything from the beginning.
We had to tell her. She said, "Wow, you have to take your name off it. So you have to sign this document, do this." We signed, we did everything. She took it off. The next day we went again to another one to confirm
To
if it was
confirm, because
actually
to be
done.
honest, and it sounds like a Nollywood movie too, because what if your son wasn't practicing photography? What if you didn't buy him a camera? What if at that point that those people were there, he didn't take pictures
Exactly.
that they used to even be able to identify those people? Man, it's a whole lot. It's a lot.
It was. It was.
And I hope people can really digest this information and just know that, see, nobody is, exempt from life happening.
Mm-hmm.
Anything can happen, right? So you just have to make sure that you're prepared, you're on the good side, you've done all you need to do, you've asked a lot of questions. Sometimes you go to Service Ontario or Service Canada and the person there does not even have the right answer for you. They give you wrong information. You still have to ask another. If you're not sure of that information you got, go and ask again in another branch.
You're right.
To make sure that the information is correct, because sometimes they're not even consistent.
You're right.
And this is your life at stake. They will not be held responsible if anything happens.
And
it's
they don't
still
even
your
know.
own responsibility.
Yeah, they don't even know. It's me that knew that, if I have any criminal record, I won't be able to get my citizenship, right? All the stress.
Exactly.
So I thought further than where they are thinking.
Yeah.
Thinking of, they're investigating me. I'm thinking of, Bomi.
My life.
That kind of thinking.
God.
Hey, and it's not even an experience that anybody wants to go through. And it might not even be in these circumstances. It could be in any other, way or any other issues. But the whole thing is, as newcomers, let's try as much as possible to ask questions and, surround yourselves with fellow Nigerians like yourself. I remember the childcare benefits. I didn't have opportunity like a lot of people had, because I wasn't privy to that information. It was after maybe a year, we were just with friends, and we're like, you're collecting money for what? Oh, you're not collecting? No, what kind of thing? Everyone was like, that story, the story that I cannot even tell here. But I was angry with myself. I was like,
I hope you got it eventually, like backdated.
I didn't get. I don't even want to tell that story here, but
that is
I was angry at myself. I was like, what? But
surround yourself with Nigerians, surround yourself with people that have been through it before you. Because if you come and like you said, a lot of Nigerians come in and they say, oh, I don't want to be in a location that there are too many Nigerians. I don't want to go to a school where there are too many Nigerians. It's like, okay, fair and good if that's your decision. But do you think that the other people from other nationalities around you, do you think they know the kind of advice you need?
It's true.
If you're surrounding yourself with people that have been here 20 years, that are not even immigrants, they don't know they can't tell you what you need to do as a new immigrant. They can't tell you the documentation, the things the benefits you can get.
Yeah. Some people,
they don't have that information. These people, many of them, they don't even know how immigration works.
I was going to say
when you come in and you tell them, oh, I'm a permanent resident, or I'm a citizen, I moved here because they don't understand.
Yeah.
Is that how
ask you to come and explain what is what is expressing
permanent resident? So how do you apply? What do you as a skilled worker? And they're like, oh, okay. They don't know. Yeah. So if you don't surround yourself with like minds and people that have been through what you've been through before you, how do you want to learn from them?
It's true.
So food for thought, though. People, it's up to individuals to decide, how they want to mingle. But WhatsApp groups they're very helpful.
Yes,
they're very helpful.
Even during my own time, we didn't have a lot of WhatsApp group, but God just helped me by surrounding me with, people that exceptional kind people. I use this opportunity, to mention some names. Ngozi and her family, Kate, Ada and her family, Kenny. Oh my God, these guys were like angels. There are times that I'm stuck in school. Their husband will go and pick my kids from school and take my kids to their house. My husband is far away. They are calling me from daycare. You know how it is from daycare.
Who else wants to do that for you?
First time, second time, they'll tell you, sorry, you are not picking your, So I'm calling people that I don't have they're not my family members. They are just friends. But they were there for me. Kids will come and say, did you hear that they're doing something here? What are you doing? Oh yeah, let's go. That they are collecting this? Oh yeah,
Even this business grant self that is going on.
Then somebody will now
This
say,
this
I don't want to mingle with Nigerians. Nigerians can be,
uh
they're lousy, they're this. I want to be on my own. My sister, my brother. They are
hmm.
not, it's not a good decision. No.
It's
Sincerely, I
not,
don't think
because
it's,
you'll
I
be
don't,
missing out on a lot. Yeah,
yes,
you'll be missing out on a lot.
a lot.
Right now we're at an hour, 5 minutes. So I don't want us to go too far beyond that. I don't want to take too much of your time. But lawyers in the house, do you have any questions for Barrister Bomi? A lot of people have been gasping about your story. Hmm. It's not. It really sounds like a movie. Like, I don't think I've ever seen that happen in real life. Other than in the movies where like you see police cars, the lights, everything, and you're like, oh God.
And that was why I said I was going to share this, because it
Yes.
actually took me asking my husband permission to do this, because I knew that it was
Yes.
personal to my family. But I felt,
It
you
is.
know what? Two people called me after, two people that we shared it to, very close family members, and they said, "Thank God you told me that story. If not,
Hmm.
would have gotten into the same trouble. Look at what happened." So I felt, you know
Hmm.
what? I think this is a good
It's important.
information to pass out
Yeah.
there to prevent another person from falling into
From
this kind of situation, because
exactly.
we can't be sure, right? You might not, the person might not be lucky enough to get a camera to take pictures, might not be lucky enough that somebody wasn't actually killed in the robbery,
And
so
honestly, when they entered your house too, they already profiled you. They saw your call to bar picture on the wall. They've seen that, okay, this is a specific kind of character. So what if it wasn't like that? You
exactly.
know, somebody
What if,
that could have led to something,
yeah,
in a different scenario.
yeah,
God
I'm sure
forbid.
they're looking at, oh, do I smell drugs? Do I smell
Mm,
any, all those things are
mm,
things that you wouldn't know what they're doing, but they're looking around
yeah,
and trying to
they're
confirm
trained to do
what,
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
So someone has a question. What jobs can new immigrant lawyers do in Canada, and how long can it take to get one? So I guess this person is asking, before you get called to bar, are there like some alternative jobs for people that have law experience from Nigeria coming in?
yes, they are. Like I said at the beginning, I didn't get qualified immediately, so I did something in HR, and I got a role in HR. It was just because I had that passion of continuing with my legal profession, so I had to come out of HR when I was called to bar. So you can, there are a lot of things there. There you can do something in HR, compliance, admin, law clerk. Um, a lot of things, even project managers, management. I have a lot of lawyers that we came in together and decided, you know what, I'm not going to further in the part of the legal profession. And they are now all project managers and the likes. So there are lots of
Mhm.
things you can do. There's law clerk, there's human resources management, and HR itself has a lot of different areas that you can try and follow. So it doesn't have, when you say HR, it doesn't literally mean HR. You have compensation, you have recruitment, you have lots of other other parts to HR. So there are lots of things you can do as a lawyer while you're trying to get your legal
Right.
license to practice.
Okay. Someone also asked if it's possible to become a mediator or something. While um, I guess would that require you to be
So
licensed?
no, for a mediator, there's actually they have a body. So that's something unique about Canada. For every area you try to specialize in, there's always a body, and they always have exams. They have qualifying exams in order for you to become an expert in that area. So for mediators and arbitrators, they have bodies. So you would have to find out. I know they do exist. I know one of while I was doing my master's at Oxford, I did a course in mediation. So I know that they have a body here in Canada, and you can actually do a whole course, a whole program in
Hmm.
mediation in itself, and you can be a mediator. They have different areas in mediation. You can be a family law mediator. They different areas where you can use that skill. So you don't necessarily have to, go to court or be a practicing lawyer to be a mediator. No.
Okay. Okay. Sounds good. Thank you so much. I'm so glad that you were able to come on and share your story with us. These are some of the things you shared today are not things that you hear from people. Some people don't like to share their mistakes. or some lessons that they've learned for other people to learn. They don't want to be the case study, right? But at the end of the day, what good is that doing, right? If we're learning things and we're not able to share them with people. So I'm very grateful that you've come on and you've been able to share with my audience. You guys, please thank Barrister Bomi for
Thank you,
me.
everyone. Even though I
She's
can't see anyone, I can't see the comments. But thank you so much for having me,
yeah.
Shokwe. Thank you
Thank
for the
you.
things that you
Thank
do.
you so much for coming on. It's been an honor to interview you, and I hope we can do this again sometime in future where we'll have like a check-in, to see in a few years from now, maybe see how things are going. Well, thank you so much for coming on, and thank you for inspiring our ITLs, our internationally trained lawyers. They've seen that you've done it, with two kids. It's very realistic. Very, in fact, without your husband in the beginning, very realistic story. Thank you so much for sharing and inspiring people. And you guys, thanks for watching. And I hope to see you guys in my next video. Remember to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it and drop me a comment after. If you want a session that's solely about, getting licensed in Canada, we can have a session about that as well. Let me know if that's something you want in the comment section after this video goes up, and I'll bring that to you. All right, thank you very much again. Thank you very much again, Marisa Bumi.
Thank you so much, everybody. Have
Thank
a beautiful
you.
Easter holiday. Thank you for
Thank
having me,
you.
Shokwe.
Happy
Yes.
Easter. Thanks for
Thank
coming. Bye
you.
bye.
Bye.